বন্ধ করো খানিকা করে
For almost 2 days, the rain fell. Many people were asleep in their homes when the mudslides followed. Some survivors described the ground simply disappearing from under their feet. For those still asleep, there was little chance of escape.
It's hard to assess the full losses and the damage from the heavy rainfall right now. I think it will take about 1 week. And regarding the dead, those carrying out the rescue operations aren't able to retrieve the dead bodies. That will have to happen once the operation is over.
Bangladesh is battered by heavy rain and storms every monsoon season. But exceptionally heavy rainfall combined with deforestation triggered landslides that few had anticipated. Rescue workers dug holes in the mud that clogged homes, trying to reach survivors below. Police say many of the dead are from poor tribal communities, living in traditional homes in the remote hill district of Rangamati, close to the border with India. This is the second major weather event in the area in 2 weeks. Cyclone Mora had earlier slammed into Bangladesh's southeast, killing at least 8 people. With more heavy rain forecast, officials have evacuated thousands of people to safe areas. Miriam Nahond, Al Jazeera.
Incessant rains caused floods in Assam and Mizoram. In Mizoram, 8 persons have been killed and 6 were missing after flash floods caused by heavy rainfall wreaked havoc at Tlapung in Lunglai district. Now, National Highway 54, which links the state with Assam, has been breached at different places due to the landslides. Schools were closed and people are forced to leave the buildings. Landslides and incessant rains have blocked several roads in the capital Aizawl. Power supply lines were snapped and telecommunication system was disrupted. In Assam, incessant rains have thrown life out of gear in Guwahati city. The city is witnessing heavy rains, causing massive water logging at many places in the city. Vehicle movement has been badly affected due to the rains, and there were reports of landslides from some areas in the city. 2 people have been killed due to incessant rains. The administration has meanwhile ordered closure of schools and other educational institutions today.
Incessant rains since the last 2 days have created a flood-like situation in the Imphal city. The city is witnessing rise in water level in most of the rivers flowing through the valley of Manipur. The water level in rivers is beyond the danger mark due to overnight rains. The rain has thrown normal life out of gear and residents are facing problems due to the increasing water level.
Incessant rain in most of the parts of the northeast region has created havoc and killed at least 5 people so far. In Guwahati city, several areas have been waterlogged by flash floods due to continuous downpour. Water has entered several houses in different areas including Tarun Nagar and Nabin Nagar. The heavy rainfall has also caused heavy traffic jam and commuters are left stranded on roads.
हमारा पूरा गला तक हो गया पानी। अभी घर में पूरा पानी? अभी तो एक ककल पानी है, कमर तक है पानी। तो अभी सरकार की तरफ से क्या सुविधाएं मिल रहा है? सरकार का तरफ से हम लोग का सुविधा अच्छे मिला है। कल आने के बाद बिस्कुट पानी दिया, रात में खिचड़ी दिया, सुबह फिर ब्रेड दिया, बिस्कुट दिया।
Many households were swept away by flash flood water and people are compelled to walk in knee-deep water. Moreover, schools, colleges and other business establishments remain shut. The State Disaster Response Fund SDRF teams are visiting the affected areas and are taking stock of the situation. They are making all efforts to extend all possible help to the affected.
Welcome back. The state of Mizoram is facing one of its worst fury in the past few years. As many as what is been counted as 10 people have been killed and several others have been left injured in the region. Incessant rain has caused several buildings to collapse. The entire area has been brought to a standstill. Heavy rains and thunder showers in Mizoram have the worst floods in what seems to be 50 years, 5 decades.
बताओ, नहीं तो ब्लॉक कर दूंगी। नहीं तो क्या होता? ब्लॉक कर दूंगी। नाम बता ना, नाम क्या होता? तेरा नाम बता ना, तेरे को जो बताना है। तुम्हारा नाम क्या होगा? सूरज? हाँ, वो मेरा नाम ऑलरेडी जानती है। उसको क्या होता है? यूट्यूब पर डाल देना ना। न्यूज़ वाले देखो न्यूज़ बना देंगे। अरे तुम्हारी बेटी का अगर नहीं बनाए तो मेरा नाम सूरज है। तो मेरा नाम कुमार सानू है। क्या क्या? पकड़ इसको। पानी पानी लगे भाई। अंदर के उतना ऊपर में जाएगा ना। अंदर ले अंदर भाग रहे सब। वो तो चाचे भी नहीं बजे थोड़ी बेला टावर पालावे थोड़ी बेला पालावे। अरे यार तो ले डेंजर है अरे बाहर से देखो ए देखो जा तू ए ये फोर व्हीलर नहीं का से ये बोलो गाड़ी जा ये देखो ऑटो में से आछो ऑटो। अरे यार मानुष तो आ गया तो बहुत ক্ষতি হয়ে গেল আজ আমার তেলের গ্যাস আসছে পুরো। ব্যাটারি চলে যাবে না আগে থেকে ডেঞ্জারাস হয়ে যাবে। ठीक लगे होगा हम जगह अरे यार
Scorching temperatures turning once fertile ground into barren dust. Blame it on climate change. More frequent and severe storms fueling damage in low-lying areas. Again, climate change. Scientists say the problem is what we call climate change can be more subtle and much more complex.
Climate change definitely has a lot of impact on the variation.
Liu's team of climate scientists at the University of Michigan pored over climate data throughout China covering more than half a century, from 1960 through 2013. They focused on much more than temperature, examining the effects of rain and snow, the amount of sun exposure, and soil moisture. China proved to be a challenge.
I think China is one of the countries with the highest variation in terms of those variabilities in the climate factors.
This map details the changes. Orange shows the greatest difference in variables, followed by yellow, then green. This is important because northeastern China is a rich area for growing food and experiences the greatest amount of climate chaos. This chaos can not only disrupt food supplies for China's megacities in the south, northern China's unpredictable weather could be catastrophic elsewhere on the planet.
Those climate change will have impact on food security, not just in China, but also affect the other part of the world as well, because the food security in China will affect the food production and the food supply and the food price in other parts of the world.
What's the best way to combat the ebb and flow of these variables? Liu says the quickest solution is to control greenhouse gas emissions, blamed for raising the global temperature. His team is also encouraging farms to alter the crops they grow to suit regions dramatically affected by rainfall and where sun exposure differs. Now, this data has been out there for years, so why is this only now coming to light? The researchers say China is a huge nation, and gathering all of that information was difficult and a tedious process. And lastly, they needed a database that would span 50 years or more, so they were able to spot patterns.
When you talk about this tedious work and how much effort there is to collect all this information, but it really just shows how one country can be affected by so many different variables.
Well, exactly, and I think that's the big thing that they're trying to hammer away, because people talk about climate change, that the temperature going up, the earth being warmer, but there's a lot more to it than that. Areas that get a certain amount of sunlight, are they getting more, are they getting less? How is that being affected with cloud cover moving in, especially rainfall? What is that doing to the soil? And an area in like Heilongjiang in northeastern China, that is an area that has been traditionally very cold. Well, it has gotten somewhat warmer since just 1980, and now they chiefly grow corn, soybeans, beets up in that area. And that's important, because if these variables would disrupt a pattern like that, it would not only have an effect in China, but that same kind of thing is going on in other corners of the world. So that's important. And it's very important for China, because they can only farm about 10% of the land. With more than 300 million farmers, they're still able to feed about 20%, 1 out of 5 people in the whole world.
Incredible numbers there. What about the researchers' words of caution that we need to find ways to control the release of greenhouse gas emissions, especially with the United States pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord?
Yeah, I think that is one thing that they're really trying to drive home. And if you think about it, virtually every nation on earth is saying what the U.S. did, what the Trump administration did, is going to have long-suffering effects unless they're able to turn this around or find a way to severely limit the amount of greenhouse gases that are being released from the U.S. That's something very important. Clearly, that's the number one thing that critics, scientists point to that is heating up the atmosphere and having this effect. Now, take a look at that area like the Arctic, an area that's warming up faster, twice as fast as any other place on Earth. Just recently, we did a story about the fact that the winds coming out of that area are being adversely affected by climate change. And that's important in an area like China, where the wind used to come, the jet stream used to blow through Beijing and that area during the winter. Well, now it's moved to the north, and that's bad because all that punishing smog and pollutants that hang in the air, they're staying there. So if you're wondering how can something affect spot A when we're talking about spot B, virtually every area of the globe is affected by climate change, and this nuance, the minuscule parts that they're focusing on in this study are extremely important.
All right, Sean Caleb, thanks for that.
The weather can be extreme and fickle-minded here in Korea, providing constant challenges to farmers. This year, there's not enough rain to help them secure enough water resources at dams and reservoirs. Oh Jung-hee turns the spotlight to the current drought in rural areas and open our eyes to some alternative means to improve the situation.
On the way to the rice farms in the city of Seosan, Chungcheongnam-do province, several placards encourage people to cut their water usage to cope with the drought. Lack of rain has made rice farming a lot harder here. Farms on reclaimed land can't keep their salt levels down, and it's killing the rice plants. Salinity levels here are hitting 8 or 9,000 parts per million when they're normally at 2,000. The rice stalks have turned yellow and the roots black.
다 썩잖아, 그냥 썩을래. 썩어들어 죽잖아요. 염 때문에. 물이 짜니까.
Farmers hope to plant again at the end of this month. But even if that goes well, the area's rice yield is expected to be only 30% of what it's been. And if there's no rain, farmers can't expect much at all.
This may just look like part of an ordinary farm, but I'm actually standing at the upper stream of Poryong Dam, and as you can see, the ground is all dried up and cracked. These cracks are deep and wide enough for me to put my hand into them.
Water reserves at Poryong Dam stand at 9.7%, the lowest they've been since the dam was built.
현재 저 역삼각형하고 이 수면하고 한 절반 정도 이상 이게 차 있어야 되거든요. 근데 옛날 저 아스팔트 도로길이 그대로 다 드러나서요. 이게 심각한 상황입니다.
The dam provides water for 8 nearby cities. For now, only the farmers are short of water, but if the drought continues too long, officials say households and industries may have to cut back too. The amount of rain through mid-June this year is the second lowest since 1973. Nationwide, just 184.6 millimeters, or around half that of a typical year. Precipitation at dams and reservoirs, too, is only around 60% of the average.
This year, we've had more days with high atmospheric pressure, so that's meant a lot of sunny and dry days. Until July, we'll have less rain than usual, so the drought is expected to stay for a while.
We are running an emergency headquarters that's in direct charge of all regions. We'll provide emergency water supply to areas facing a drought, using spare water resources at nearby dams, regional water supplies, and underground water.
In the meantime, there are alternative solutions under development, like cloud seeding to induce rain. Planes disperse hygroscopic substances into the clouds, which cause water molecules to condense in the form of clouds and then fall as rain. Rainmaking technology is used in China, Israel, and the United States, while Korea and Japan are still in the development stages.
We've tested it 32 times over the past 9 years and saw rainfall increase by 1 millimeter with a success rate of 41%. Rainmaking technology can help secure water resources, improve water quality, prevent forest fires, and mitigate the consequences of drought.
Another option is desalinating seawater. This is done by either boiling water from the ocean to distill it or by using extremely fine membranes to filter out tiny particles, including salt. Considering that 97% of the world's water is contained in the oceans, the technology could one day become cost-effective enough to end water scarcity.
The continued decrease in rainfall in the recent years is now creating severe water shortage issues in certain provinces of Korea. Doosan successfully engineered and constructed Korea's very first large-scale desalination plant that is designed to produce more than 45,000 tons of water per day for municipal use in the Busan area.
Of course, the best solution is good old-fashioned rain. But with none in the forecast for another week or so, concern is growing that the drought could last well into the summer. 오정희, 아리랑 뉴스.
Regardez le centre de Costaro. Les voitures sont noyées au bout, sur la 102. Il y a de l'eau. Impressionnant.
На севере республики Коми из-за половодья введен режим ЧС в 6 населенных пунктах. И несмотря на то, что сейчас наблюдается некоторый спад уровня воды в реках Уса, Колва и Печора, ситуация все равно остается сложной. Подтоплены придворовые территории, огороды, дачные участки. Под воду ушли сразу несколько участков автодороги Усинск-Калва, поэтому проезд по ней закрыт, а для населения организована переправа. Силами МЧС ведется постоянный мониторинг обстановки на реках. В случае ухудшения ситуации спасатели готовы начать эвакуацию жителей деревень, попавших в зону подтопления, а также оказывать посильную помощь по доставке продуктов и медикаментов.
Okay, you guys, take a look at this haze out there this morning. Welcome, everybody. 6:16. We have a lot to get to, so let's jump on it today. Temperature-wise, it is a mild morning out there, no doubt about that. 68 up in the Lancaster, mid-60s to low 60s pretty much everywhere. This is what we're watching for Saturday going into effect all through next Wednesday. Excessive heat watches, excessive heat warnings, red flag warnings you can see for the mountain locations, all of the Inland Empire, and then out to the east. These will all come online on Saturday. We'll keep you updated. I'm just giving you a far out heads up for you as we head towards the weekend. Temperatures are going to get dangerously hot. Please take care of your animals. Don't leave them in the car whatsoever. High pressure from the Sonora Desert builds in. That's a lot of hot air coming our way, and things are going to really warm up. So downtown and the beaches, we get up there, we move up a little bit, not crazy. We're going to get a little bit of a sea breeze at the surface, but it is the interior areas that are going to really get on it. 95 for the valleys, 98 tomorrow, then Saturday, and then we start to jump as we get the beginning of next week. Even though we'll start to feel it to the high deserts over the weekend and the IE, the extreme heat kicks in beginning for the high deserts on Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can see anywhere between 108 to 112 for the Antelope Valley. Out towards the Inland Empire, 104 to 107. If you're brave enough to take this time of year and go out to Death Valley for I don't know what reasons, but if you are, 122 out there, which means the Colorado River Valley is really going to get on it out towards Havasu as well. So we'll keep you updated on that.
Some local roads remain closed tonight after heavy rains caused flash flooding in the area.
Good evening. It didn't last long, but the effects of today's storm are still being felt tonight as crews work to clear away water and debris.
And many of the areas flooded tonight were still cleaning up from yesterday's storms. Amy Wattis is live with more tonight. Amy.
Good evening, and Route 51 at Edgebrook Avenue headed inbound is now open to traffic tonight. Outbound is still closed. And then over at 51 and Whited Street in both directions, that intersection is still closed. Now, if you look over this way, you can see PennDOT crews are still out cleaning up the debris on 51 tonight. Now, Sawmill Run Creek flooded onto 51 just a little over 5 hours ago. And tonight, local businesses are cleaning up after this mess. Route 51 looked like a small river Wednesday evening near Bonaire after the rains came down hard, overflowing Sawmill Run Creek.
Impressive, actually. It's actually impressive if you ask me. You know, it's the force of nature at work here.
This nearby veterinary clinic shut down early because they lost power. Employees stood by watching the water rush down the street.
It's kind of scary. I hope that everyone is safe and no one got caught, you know, in their cars or anything.
This dumpster got caught in the floodwaters. So did some tires. And these two cars from Fellini Auto Sales.
Maybe like five cars in the back. We don't know what's good here, but we're gonna try to start whatever works. If it doesn't, we tried moving cars as soon as possible. We couldn't do it in time.
Fortunately, the business has insurance. 2 swift water rescue teams are searching for those cars in the creek. A little further down on 51 near Bousman Street, the water just stood still. And this is video of Route 51 and 88, a pool of water there stopping traffic and creating problems for some time. Not too far from there, Casti Village in Whitehall got hit pretty hard, including Fitness 19.
There were a good bit of members in here. We probably had to shuffle at least 50 people out of here.
When we were there, puddles of water were all over the floor and in the basement. But the employees at the gym are confident it will be back open for business on Thursday. And good news tonight, no one was injured after all of the flooding that happened over here. Public safety officials say they did have to help 2 juveniles from nearby business Fire and Ice All-Stars located here on 51, and 1 person was rescued from the roof of a car on nearby Provost Road. I did speak to Duquesne Light tonight. They tell me 180 customers along Route 51 are without power, and they hope to get power restored to those customers by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. We are live tonight. Amy Wattis, KDKA TV News.